Flames Talk AFCON Special. We're back again to discuss the AFCON 2023 games. And what a day we have today. Um, Today is actually going to be the start of the round of 16, and it's going to be amazing. We've seen lovely games, we've seen fantastic games, and now in the round of 16, we expect it to be taken a little bit higher. I have my guest analyst today on the show, my beautiful guest analyst. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Good morning.
Okay, so today Nigeria is going to be facing Cameroon, and it promises to be. I'm really tense right now. I'm nervous. I'm going to be starting with Punja. Punja, you watched the Nigeria Guinea-Bissau game live, right?
Yes.
Okay, so how has it been since then in the camp?
Well, I think after that first game with Equatorial Guinea, the boys had to pick up because they knew how disappointing that result was. You know, playing against, I don't want to call them a smaller team, but a team that everybody would expect them to get, their 3 points from. So after that game and the result was really disappointing, the boys picked up from there, and you could see from the scoreline hasn't been too great, but one thing that everyone is confident about is that the boys are actually creating chances. If they weren't creating any chances, then everybody will be worried. But so far, so good. They have really been able to, understand the assignments that they have at hand, and each time they go on that page, you always see them come out with a result. It might be a slim win, but a win is a win, and one goal can win a cup for you. It doesn't matter how much goals you score. You might score 10 goals in a tournament and still get out of the tournament. So, but for the boys, they know what they have to do, and so far so good. They have delivered on the pitch. So for me, I'm confident with what I've seen so far from the Super Eagles.
Okay, Sam, I was having a discussion with you the last time, and we were talking about tournament football, where basically it shouldn't be all goals. You talked about teams that have not scored but went on to the finals. Nigeria is facing Cameroon today. Are you optimistic with regards to how the Super Eagles are going to fare, or are you just going to be one of those that say we don't stand a chance against Cameroon?
No, we 100% stand a chance against Cameroon. I think we're even the favourites going into the game. I'm worried because I want to see Nigeria score goals. We have the best striker, the best player in Africa currently, and he just happens to be our striker, and he's not been scoring goals. The fact that we got through to the last 16 with 1 goal from open play, 1 own goal and 1 penalty is saying a lot about our finishing right now. But having said that, if we get through the game and we win 1-0 today, or we win on penalties, or we score in extra time, or Zambo Anguissa scores an own goal, I will not complain. I will take that Eddie, and I will go through to the next round.
Eddie, rate the Super Eagles through the group stage. They played. We've seen them play 3 games. They actually played against Equatorial Guinea, and we're like, what are they playing? Well, how could they pull a draw? But later on, we saw how Equatorial Guinea became the team of the tournament. Do you actually think that the Super Eagles did well in the group stages?
Personally, I don't think they did well. But like Sam said, we got the results we wanted, and this is a time for them to really step up. I know there've been a lot of debates in groups about the performance of our team, but I think we need, our midfield is a bit of a mess at the moment, and I think a lot of people are relying on Osimhen to do some magic, but he can't do it alone. He needs the team behind him. He needs the midfield to be able to supply him with the goals, with the ball, so he can, for him to be able to score goals. But I don't think we've been at our best we've managed to scrape through. And, Sam touched on that as well, own goals, penalties, but, it's got us to where we want to be or where we need to be. But I don't think we can rely on that going into the round of 16, because obviously the kind of like the stronger teams are the ones who have made it through. So now the real competition starts.
All right, thank you very much for that. Dio, Cesaro said something about he just wants Nigeria not to concede. Even if we break through with one goal, we are good. Do you think that's the kind of statements you should be making as the coach? Is that a timid statement, like, okay, let's just manage not to score? It's more like, I feel it's not a confident statement. He should be like, oh, okay, we're going to like decimate the Cameroon team, or we're going to beat them 4-0 and all that. Do you think what he said oozes confidence?
What I think is that the statements that are being attributed to Cesaro at this time is a direct reflection of his philosophical shift, his current philosophical position and approach, particularly after the Guinea-Bissau, Equatorial, starting from the Ivory Coast match. What do I mean by that? Cesaro, when he got the role, he came with this brand of football, this attack, front foot, all-out attack brand of football. And he wanted to score a lot of goals. But he saw that in qualifiers and even in friendlies, it didn't quite work out for him. We kept creating, but we didn't score a lot of goals. And in the first game as well, he went with that philosophy against Equatorial Guinea. And yes, we created clear-cut chances, but we still couldn't convert. So now he has actually changed now to instead of 4-4-2 or 4-3-3, he's now gone to something like 3-4-3. And when we defend, we have 5 defenders. So he's gone from, apparently he said he's now an economical, he now plays economical football. That's what he says he plays now. He plays economical football. So for me, I wrote an article recently. I said, so we've moved from extravagant football to economical football. So the statements he's making is a reflection of the fact that now he just wants to keep it tight at the back, contain our opposition, stop them from scoring, and then hit them on the break and hopefully score one goal to see us through. So he's now being very pragmatic. I don't think it's negative. It's just a reflection of his brand of football. And if you actually look at the tournament so far, out of 24 teams in the group stages, only 4 teams conceded just 1 goal in the group stages: Morocco, Mali, Senegal, and Nigeria. So that's to tell you that he's prioritizing defense over attack.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
You're saying basically he just wants to park the bus. That's exactly what it is. I actually disagree. I disagree with what Dio said. I think it's like going into an exam and saying, oh, as long as I get across, let's say the pass mark is 40%, you're just aiming for 40% instead of aiming high, you're just aiming to pass. I think, as a coach, like Flame said, he should be like being very positive and talking about how we're going to annihilate Cameroon and not, if we can just.
But Eddie, hold on. We created 13 chances so far. It's not like we're not trying to
score. Many of them, yes, but how many of them did we actually manage to close? How many of them did we actually take those chances?
That's the problem. That's the problem. That's on the cement. Exactly. That's on the cement. Okay, now it's not like we're not creating chances. Yeah, we are defending well, but we are creating chances. Why are we not scoring? Sam, why do you think we're not scoring? Is it that our players are not in form, or are we missing Victor Boniface? What's going on?
No, I think the only thing that it can come down to is pressure, because everybody's expecting Osimhen to do it. Maybe that's what's getting to him, because realistically, if you put those chances to him at Napoli, he scores every single one of them. And you could even argue that he could be the top goal scorer right now at AFCON. So I don't know what it is. The only thing I can put it down to is pressure. It's not about his ability. We don't doubt his ability. It's just pressure for me.
Being told that he's the biggest, African player we have at the moment. That's a lot of pressure on young shoulders.
True.
Shoulders.
True.
Yeah.
Okay, now Osimhen is not scoring. We also had Zaidu Sanusi miss clear chances. So what is he under pressure too?
Which is
not just informed.
Which is what I was going to say, that for me, from what I've observed in the matches, I don't think it has anything to do with pressure, to be quite honest with you. These are players that have played at the highest level. The pressure didn't paralyze him playing in Champions League, playing in front of hostile crowds in Italy. What I've noticed, for me, which is quite surprising, is poor technique, poor first touches, and also a bit of selfishness. If you look at some of the matches, for example, the Equatorial Guinea match. I always miss Equatorial Guinea and Guinea-Bissau. Iwobi squared Osimhen one-on-one with the goalkeeper. We have seen his fellow strikers in world football have more to do, have more on their plate. We've seen strikers having to deal with two defenders, overcome the defenders, overcome the keeper and score. He only had the keeper and the post. He applied poor technique. His anticipation was all off. His technique was poor. Moses Simon in the last game as well, he had a chance that was squared to him by Chukwueze. His first touch was so heavy that the ball bubbled away from him. He recovered the situation. He also had the keeper. He applied poor technique. I don't know who is going to train highly experienced players on the right technique, and the right body posture to convert these chances. We are creating chances, but poor technique and poor application are letting us down.
Sam, do you think we're missing any player so far? Is there any player that we need to actually bring out that scoring ability of the Super Eagles?
It's a difficult one. I don't think so. I think we have what we need. That's the issue. I think we have what we need, but just not scoring. Like, this would be genuinely, I think a lot of people would have picked this front three. If it was the start of the tournament, a lot of people would have said, Osimhen, Chukwueze, Lookman, or switching up those wingers here and there. But everybody would have opted for Osimhen to play up top. I don't think there's much changes. If anything, the only players that I heard that people wanted to come into the squad was the likes of Ndidi into the midfield. But aside from that, I think we have what we need. I just don't know. It's not scoring goals.
Yeah.
We are not scoring goals. We're not scoring goals. And then
Let's not forget what happened in Cameroon. We came top. Nobody in last year AFCON. We came top of our group. Scoring the goals. And what happened in the knockout stage? We got out by just one goal. So I think so far so good. We've not done bad. We've really not done bad. Yes, the goals will come. The goals will come, to be honest.
We've not done badly in terms of the results because we're second, but we haven't had our best games. I think that's what we're trying to say. Like, if we're in a stronger group, we may not have made it through.
Do you know what it is? I think that history might be in our favor. The fact that we're not playing well, because like Punja said, the last AFCON we played really, really well. We beat Egypt in that first game very convincingly. I feel like we were on fire. Went into that Tunisia game and then completely, deflated in that game and got knocked out. But this time round, we finished second behind Equatorial Guinea. Bear that in mind. And then when I look at, we know that the NFF are doing this whole thing of let's do it again, right? 2013, we actually finished second as well with 5 points. So there was even less. And that's we actually won the tournament. So it might be the thing where we start off slow.
It's
At the point, it
strategic.
was just one goal by Sunday Uba. You know,
Sunday
so
bar, that's it.
It's strategic.
But the same Tunisia was actually best loser from their group in the last AFCON, and
And then came to
Cameroon.
beat us.
Cameroon, we saw Cameroon. They were almost out of the tournament. They were almost out.
This is what I'm saying though, because I feel like it's kind of repeating itself. Because look, we scraped through the groups, just like we did in 2013. We're now playing a big team, Cameroon. Cameroon's no joke. Whether you think they've been playing well or not, they're no joke. It's the same thing in 2013. We played Ivory Coast and people were nervous. And then what did we do to them? We knocked them out. That was the team that had the likes of Drogba and Kalou and all these guys.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like maybe history can repeat itself. I'm not saying that Nigeria's going to win that.
It's tournament football. Anything can happen. We've seen it.
I don't think we should panic or be nervous yet.
I'm not panicking.
I don't see any reason why we should panic because, and again, I think there's a slight misconception because, to be quite honest with you, I hear the commentary that we are not playing well. I don't know where that is coming from. If I have to be honest with you, I really don't know where that is coming from. We are playing very
Coming from Eddie.
well.
We are playing very, very well. The first game against Equatorial Guinea, we were very organized, and we scored one goal in open play, and we created a lot of open chances.
Sorry to cut you short. I saw the rematch. You know, when you're watching the game live, it's different from when you see the replay. I saw the replay. I think it was yesterday, and man, those guys really played Equatorial Guinea, basically.
No, but I think against Equatorial Guinea, we would have expected a bit more. The results didn't really reflect.
But after watching how Equatorial Guinea scaled through
Thank you very
table,
much.
you will now know that they actually no.
Thank you. And that was the best. That was the strongest. Well,
So we're now judging ourselves against Equatorial Guinea.
Like the strongest
as
team in the group.
Based on how Equatorial Guinea played.
At that stage,
embarrassing for the Super Eagles, though.
At that stage,
the Super Eagles. The eagle is like it's a bird that flies the highest. So, and that's where we should be. We can't be comparing ourselves with Equatorial Guinea. And because they scale.
No, in football, there's no small team, no small nation anymore in football. People have developed their sport. People have developed, their players have, come up to a point where they can stand any player in the world, any team in the world. So there's no small team in this tournament at all.
A lot of those countries, I believe their players. A lot of the players are local players, and they come to basically die on that pitch. They want to get through. They're fighting for their careers. They want to get scouted, but with a lot of the bigger teams who already have stars, for them, they may have something to lose, which is abuse on social media, but then they don't have much more to gain because they're already they're already doing very well. They already, have really good stats and they already have very, very heavy salaries. So I think that's another reason why some of these, what we call smaller teams, I know you said there's no smaller teams these days, but I think that's another reason why they seem to do better than, who would have thought that Ghana would go the way they went? And who has stopped that?
I did.
I
did in Cameroon. Comoros.
Ghana.
Comoros. And this time around, no.
Last AFCON, they left with 1 point. So this time they actually improved. This time was 2 points. So a little improvement.
But who can give me hope here that Nigeria is going to coast to the final?
Dio can.
Anybody?
Dio give you any hope you need.
Can you? Please, because
he's always out there of sunshine.
It's you guys that are doing this to yourself. Look at you're all in Nigeria tops. Me? I'm just taking it easy.
I'm feeling like taking it off.
For me, it's one game at a time.
Exactly.
And to be honest, that's what I've done from the beginning of the tournament for the Super Eagles. One game at a time. And I think the most scariest game that we played was playing the host nation. I won't lie to you.
Yeah.
You could literally see the boys were shaking. During the national anthem, I was even shaking because the crowd, they were the most toughest, people to play. You're not only playing against the players, you're playing against the crowd.
It's the crowd. Yeah.
They were chanting the names of their players. We Nigerians were so few shouting Osimhen, but we could hardly hear the Osimhen. You understand? There was no way we could motivate the players. The player had to do their own, motivation by themselves and get that goal. So I think for me, it's one game at a time. I've seen them in their worst kind of moment, which was playing the host nation. Anybody now they can face is just going to be like, come on, let's go, and we can do it. And that is what they've been doing, so far. So for me, today's game, I'm going to be so relaxed watching it because I've seen, Onana might just be the bread and butter for
I am
us
praying
today.
for that. I am praying for him to play.
That's what everybody's praying for. No.
We hope that the Super Eagles are going to do us proud today. I don't want to say much. I don't want to even predict, but I will throw the predictions open. I want us to predict the scoreline for today's game. Nigeria Cameroon, starting with Eddie.
3-1 to Nigeria.
Sam.
I think it's only right that I go 1-0 to Nigeria.
Punja.
2-1 Nigeria.
Dio, you said Osimhen shouldn't play, so who's going to score the goal and how many?
It's going to be a cagey encounter, and both teams are going to want to keep it very tight at the back. So it's going to go all the way to extra time, 0-0, and Nigeria wins 3-1 on penalties.